So what happens in the end is they all join forces and everything, and the Gungas battle the droids in this huge kind of war and peace situation. That's great. It's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Fan Club podcast where we're going to be talking about everything Disney, you know, Star Wars.
Sponsored by Disney Plus.
Sponsored by Disney Plus. I'm joined by Mickey Mouse and Goofy.
Hi everybody!
Gorge!
Now, welcome to the Film Focus podcast. It's me, Sean. I'm joined by Matthew and Ben. We are going to be talking about Star Wars. I wasn't bullshitting about that part. So, if you don't like Star Wars, well, even if
you're in the right place.
Yeah, you are in the right place. We're going to start by actually saying some positive things about Star Wars. So, we talked about it on, I can't remember when these are going to release in what order.
2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, 2 or 3 episodes ago. We talked about The Mandalorian briefly. And I'd seen, I think, 6 out of 8 episodes, and Ben had seen
2 or 3.
But no, we both watched it all.
Completed it?
We completed it. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I think
overall, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, overall, I think based on what I remember of what I was saying last time, I was saying like if the last 2 episodes are really good, it'd be worth it, and they were really good, and I think it was worth it because the problems I even had with some of the middling episodes, the last few episodes kind of gave more context to them and made them relevant. So even if they weren't the strongest standalone ones, they did have a purpose, I guess, for the most part.
Yeah.
So I think it was really good, and like the main story and like cast of characters is all pretty good, and I think it's the best Star Wars thing since maybe Return of the Jedi, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd think, Ben.
Probably.
But, yeah.
Oh, I actually like Solo a lot. You never saw it, but
oh right, okay,
it's probably better. It's better than Solo because it's more creative. It's more certainly it has more. It's more original than Solo because it's about
it's like disconnected from the Skywalkers or lightsabers.
Yeah, it's fun. It's Star Warsy, and you say that's a crucial thing. It's Star Warsy, which Star Wars sometimes struggles with.
It really does, yeah.
You said it's worth the investment, and the good thing is you don't even need much investment. All the episodes are under an hour long.
True. There's only 8 of them.
There's a changing cast of characters. You don't see it follow multiple plot lines. It's really just fairly simple Mandalorian
Baby Yoda,
adventures.
you know, it's all
Yeah,
pretty
so
good.
I was wondering about that. Is Baby Yoda, because like when that like the day presumably after that episode came out where he was first in, I don't know if that was the first episode.
Yeah,
literally.
But I was like, oh, that'll be like a minor thing that gets turned into a huge meme and people remember. Is he actually quite a big part?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Him and the Mandalorian character.
So he's actually like a plot point. Like he's not just
He's
a little
He's the main plot point.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't mention that last time because I thought you might not even know about Baby Yoda, but
no, because I always assumed it was just like a little one-off thing.
No, he's Werner Herzog wants to like cut him up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
and
he's
then
got like force
He's
goo in
a
him.
Yoda, yeah.
Do we even know what that species called?
No,
Do
he
they-
could also be a baby adult. To be fair,
there was Yaddle in episode 1.
yeah.
Is that
Phantom
that was another Yoda.
He's on the
Right,
Jedi
I think
Council,
I think
yeah.
Yaddle was a woman.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't
I think
know.
boys are Yodas and girls are
Some
Yaddles.
fucking gremlins-looking goblin, anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, no,
Baby
it's-
Yoda is one of those.
The green guys with ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. I think there is a possibility going forward it could get too connected to everything and then it might fall flat on its face. But so far, I think Jon Favreau seems to have a pretty good vision for it.
Yeah.
Which
definitely.
is something that the sequel trilogy didn't have, which we're going to get into.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with it and I'm glad. And
great action.
yeah, there is good action.
Mandalorians, I enjoy watching him do his Mandalorian thing.
Yeah, this is the way. Or whatever.
Uses all the tools you'd expect from a bounty hunter. And if you've played that old Star Wars game, do you ever play that one? Star Wars Bounty Hunter, I think it was called.
I never had
it.
it.
It was about Jango Fett.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, if you've played that, then it's all that.
I mean, it's
He
better
uses
than
all the
that,
weapons
but,
from that.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. It feels
Definitely.
authentic and the most authentic Star Wars film for a while. So
it's an fairly interesting period.
Yeah, it's between
Return of the
6
Jedi
and 7, right?
Yeah.
It's
So
like
you
the fall of
sort
the
of see-
Empire, kind of.
Yeah, you sort of see the remnants of the Empire.
Yeah.
Good
Go.
characters.
I hope that they keep it like fairly separate
Yeah.
because I think that was
Well,
the
I
thing
hope
which
so.
I'm sure. I think that's
There
the
is
thing
some
which probably
hints that
has
it
made,
might get too broad, but
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't. So.
Because I think that's probably why they've had so much freedom is because they're like
Yeah.
they're not. They don't feel like this has to link to
I
bloody.
don't know why
Luke and shit,
they
you know?
haven't done more of that.
Yeah,
Like,
it
seems,
kind of makes you wonder, like
it's
what.
pretty obvious choice. But,
Yeah, and when you think about the sequel trilogy, how like when I remember when The Force Awakens came out, people were like, "Well, that was good. It was a bit too similar."
Well,
to
let's get
A
into
New
the
Hope."
sequel trilogy because I wanted to
But-
talk about that.
yeah.
So
is that what we're moving on to?
yeah, I think you might as well.
So
It's
Mandalorian-
something we enjoyed. Now let's
For like 5 minutes, yeah.
Let's get into this.
Yeah.
Well, no, like I want to talk about how literally that point that 7 looked so promising before it came out. I think it delivered as well.
I still
but-
like 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
do as well.
I like 7, but I think like it was doing everything right. Disney seemed to be doing everything right. It was like, you know,
Yeah.
we know you didn't outright say it, but like, you know, the prequels didn't really give people what they wanted. We're
Yeah.
gonna like go a more practical path, and like J.J. Abrams was like, you know, come out stage all these puppets and shit, and they look
Yeah.
really cool. It's like we're bringing the old cast back, like Luke, Leia, Han, but these new people as well. It seemed like they had this brilliant vision and that they're doing everything right, and then 7 came out and it set everything up and people loved it. Some people, like I think you were about to say before I kind of interrupted, that it was too similar to 4 was the big complaint.
Yeah, well,
which is a fair enough complaint. Like I'm not
Yeah.
going to
And
argue against
I
that.
remember the
but-
attitude kind of being like, yes, this is a bit too similar to 4, but we can probably forgive it for this one, because it was like you've got to set up the new trilogy.
That's how I thought about it.
So people were
as
like,
well.
yes, it's very similar, but you know, you're setting up a new trilogy, blah blah blah. That's
It was
okay.
like it was
The
a more
pro-
back to basics thing
yeah.
as well.
The problem
so
therein was afterwards when they didn't really
they had to go
build,
in a new direction.
build their own thing. They kind of just stuck hanging around the Skywalker shit.
Yeah.
You know, rather than actually
problem was-
doing new
The
characters.
problem, I think, the crux of the whole trilogy does stem from Episode 8. It's the
Yeah.
most divisive Star Wars film I think ever released. Where some people love it, a lot of people hate it. I think we all don't like it. at
I'd
least.
have to watch it again. I have been intending to rewatch it.
Yeah, I
saw it
have.
once.
Post watching Episode 9, I might.
There are
rewatch it.
there are aspects
it's-
I like.
I'd agree. I think
doesn't work.
I think we've spoken about this before, where it starts off all right, where like it starts off by like literally throwing everything that 7 sets up out of the window. Literally that scene where Luke throws the lightsaber behind the back is literally the kind of
just
metaphor for
tossing it
that.
aside.
Yeah,
That's it.
which
Clean slate.
you're like, okay, fair enough. Ryan Johnson must have
Interesting.
a direction he wants to take it in, and then he does set it up with the spoilers for the sequel trilogy. Like it's just
Yeah,
gonna
we just
happen.
didn't do spoilers
yeah.
throughout.
Yeah.
Don't see Episode 9. That's my recommendation.
Maybe watch 7 and then don't bother with the rest. But like
Just
7,
literally anything you can
Just pretend
imagine.
when they blew up the circular base, that's it. They won.
Anything you can imagine to finish the story will be better than what comes
yeah.
next.
What was my point? Yeah. So and then he threw everything that 7 set up out of the window, and then it seemed like he was going in a direction of this whole like grey area of the Force, and like basically Rey should have joined Kylo in that film. Well, it should have ended on a cliffhanger. Of
Yeah, that would have been good.
And then I would have been happy with that film. Like, sure, it had fucking flying space Leia, which was pretty insulting, but and Luke drinking fucking alien tit milk, but
A bit of milk. I'm fine with the milk
he
thing.
does it really aggressively. Is my problem more than
He's
the
trying to
tit
get- you know,
milk.
he's trying to-
but-
It's the fact that it like draws so much attention to
Yeah,
it.
he's
Just
literally
not-
like scowling at the camera, and it's like really weird. But anyway, I could maybe look past both of those horrible moments if it had ended at that point, because it explored some themes not explored in Star Wars,
Yeah.
and it was bringing in new things that were interesting.
Yeah, like
Ryan
the
Johnson did think about the script, and I will always give him points for the fact that he thought about that script, which is more than you can say for Episode 7 or 9.
I
Ryan
think
Johnson really thought
7.
about
I think
themes
7 they did think about, because it was written by J.J. and Lawrence Kasdan,
But then
who
there's
wrote
stuff like,
Empire Strikes
where
Back.
did you get Luke's lightsaber? It's a story for another day.
That's like one moment.
That's also very similar to A New Hope.
Well, yeah, I don't disagree with that. But I think they clearly thought about setting up all these other things like Snoke and the First Order.
I don't know. I think for setting up stuff, it's not like it does rely on a bit of.
Yeah, if you're going by the beats of the
I don't think
it is episode.
No, I mean
4,
it had actual. I mean, it had The Lost Jedi had actual ideas. There was.
It definitely
some
did try to do its
depth.
own thing.
Yeah,
It
that
tried
was-
to do a new kind of angle to the whole.
But I
Yes.
think you can shit on it for being beat for beat episode 4, but I think in that time, in the first film of a trilogy, you don't have time to explore the themes like the middle film would. So I think that's a bit unfair.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
But
Ryan.
the thing is, Ryan Johnson. The thing is, even though I don't like the film, and especially the like dialogue and stuff like that, which I really think is
The
tonally
humour
off.
is
The
terrible.
ideas that, like, in terms of like Luke being a hermit and stuff, like that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's not like a
Luke questions.
That's like an interesting.
He's not
thing.
just a hermit. He questions the whole idea.
So
of-
it's-
I didn't like the execution
the
of
prequel shows
it.
that the
But
Jedi are terrible.
yeah.
And Luke embraces that.
That's the
in
thing
this.
about The Last Jedi is it's not conceptually it's not terrible.
Yes.
It's just like the way that Ryan Johnson did it is quite
Yeah.
bad. I
The
think.
The
execution,
execution was flawed. However, you look
especially
at it.
the Luke thing, it could have been. I mean, it was interesting, but even Mark Hamill hates how it was executed. So
He wasn't noble enough. I don't think I've said that before, but
Yeah.
like a grand master like Luke should, even if he's like a hermit now, he shouldn't be like.
It's not just about not being noble, though. I would be fine with him being a bitter old lapsed Jedi. But I do agree that him just deciding to kill his nephew one night was a bit out of line.
Who's probably like 16 at the time or something.
yeah, the things aside, like the Canto bite, is
Did you
it?
notice they mentioned that in The Mandalorian?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
so there you
What,
go.
the
casino planet?
I think the Casino Planet is up there with the prequels.
It's quite frequently.
of some of the
there's
worst
a little,
things in a
It's
Star
like a little
Wars
opera
film.
singer alien.
Well, okay, here's the thing, right? I like all the like creatures in that scene. I like I don't have a problem with it. I like all the wacky
I
little
like the
things
creatures
and
in Star
stuff
Wars,
because it's
yeah.
like that wasn't the problem with like.
It was
Yeah.
I think
more
it's the idea of a casino planet is quite
and
frequently.
then it had all this
Yeah.
really forced in child slavery and
The
animal
whole
rights kind of
unnecessary thing about,
and
like,
Rose and Finn being
Trying to make
terrible.
some commentary on war, like
Yeah.
I like that, but that was also another
Execution
thing that
is
was
terrible.
executed
Yeah.
terribly.
Yeah.
Like I think about whenever I catch myself thinking The Lost Jedi, maybe it was just misunderstood. Maybe
Well,
Ryan Johnson had good ideas.
that-
And I
that's
think about
a-
Benicio del Toro's character. It was the worst Star Wars character ever.
I hated him. Yeah.
I think no, it was quite bad.
Yeah.
I like that stuff about the rebels and the Empire both profiting. It's that, but the problem is none of that is seen
doesn't
through.
pay off. Yeah.
He-
It's like
he-
did you ever think, Finn, that
he dips his
maybe the fact that we
Yeah.
kill people is bad? And he's like, maybe.
Ryan
Anyway, let's go. Like
Ryan
Th-
Johnson
this-
dips
this-
his toes in this whole idea of
This-
a grey area
Yeah.
in a very black and white film series, and then
Yeah.
just completely
goes away.
immediately
Yeah.
retracts it.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
Yeah. It's
he-
It's
as we say, it subverts its subversions. Where if we say it should have ended on this cliffhanger of does Rey join Kylo or whatever, but then there's another hour, maybe more of the film where it's just Kylo being bad,
it's
and
like
then
salty Hoth.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
and then
But they have to have that line of dialogue explicitly to make sure you don't say,
not-
"Oh,
it's
it's
not
another
slow,
snow planet."
it's-
They have to have a guy say, "It's salt."
Salt. What?
and then
Thanks, man. That was great.
you have Finn looking like he's gonna sacrifice himself. It's like, oh, that's
Which would have been good.
makes sense, and then he subverts that by that not happening, and then being instead a shit character moment, and then
Because
Saves
you
him.
can't. It's not worth killing yourself to save people, and she makes that point by almost killing herself
Yeah,
to save him.
I actually liked Rose though. I enjoyed Rose as a character.
I don't blame the actress. People
Yeah.
shouldn't have gone after
It's definitely,
her
like,
that,
yeah.
but
It's like
the writing for her was not.
She was.
great.
She wasn't too interesting, but it wasn't the actress. You
No,
know?
no,
It was
no.
just like.
I liked Rose, but
Finn-
we can get into
Finn was
Finn.
set
I
up-
don't even know where to start with all this. I just
Well, I'm slowly getting
there's
there.
I don't know how to be coherent about this.
No, I have a train of thought going on.
Oh.
Okay,
So
I'll let you.
I think it's important to talk about Finn and Rose in this sense because Finn's set up pretty interestingly in 7,
Yep.
and then he's literally pretty
He does the
terrible
same
in Episode
thing
8.
again,
I'll
I
be
think.
honest. In Last Jedi, they make him such a useless, stupid character. It's like another dumb fight with fucking silver stormtrooper lady.
Oh, Captain Phasma.
Oh, yeah.
Another useless character.
Actually, he does have one line I like when he calls himself Rebel Scum.
Oh,
Yeah, but
I remember
I like
cringing when I heard
I
that.
thought that was quite
Rebel
cringy.
Scum's such a good. I love Rebel Scum, and so I love saying it. And so to hear him say that he's Rebel Scum, I like that. I like that moment.
But yeah, so episode 8,
I forgot.
it kind of fucking... Problem is, it didn't leave any plot lines really, other than Kylo bad, Rey good.
Yeah, which was, and also they win. The rebels win. They get severely depleted, but
That's true,
I
yeah.
don't know. You would expect. I
So
guess.
then they have to come up with that whole weird thing in episode 9 where it's like, yes, these like Sith midgets were making a fleet of Star Destroyers under the ground.
Alright, wait,
for
let's
years.
go back a step or something.
I'm getting ahead of
Where's my train of thought? So, if I'm correct, episode 8 ends on this like idea of like the Force has awakened and like all these kids.
We are the spark that will light the flame.
Pretty much,
Of
some
the rebellion.
bullshit like
Is
that.
that
Yeah.
the line?
Something like
It's a
that.
really
Sounds
it's a
about
really
right. There's
wordy
some,
line.
yeah. So that's how it ends,
Yes.
and then we get to episode 9, which is partly Kathleen Kennedy's fault because. Spoilers, we don't like the film. It's kind of a reaction to people's reaction to episode 8.
Yeah, it's like a checklist of things they need
to
fix in inverted commas
'Cause
from episode.
episode 7 and 8 seems like we're giving these directors creative control to kind of do what they want with Star Wars. I mean, episode 8 was clearly that.
Definitely. Yeah.
But then they were like, oh, no, we're not doing that anymore because people hate that. So in the last film of the trilogy where that's been 2 films we set up trying to do that, we're going to go back on ourselves and instead, just do a checklist of like fan service. Although it's not really fan service fans would want a lot of the time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a
fan,
giant, like, old school Star Wars fan, but for me, it, like, people said, it was all fan service, but it wasn't good fan service.
No,
because,
it was
like, an
bad.
example of good fan service is, like, Avengers Endgame.
Endgame,
where there's
yeah.
all sorts of parts that come back, and it's like, Avengers Assemble, and it's like, yes, fuck yes. Whereas this didn't really have any of that.
No.
It's like, hey, guys, Lando. That guy was kind of cool. Look, there he is.
Yeah.
And, all right.
Well, most of it's specifically stuff from The Last Jedi. Snoke.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
Rey's parents.
Rey's parents.
Which, I'll be honest, I like the fact that she didn't really have any parents that mattered.
Yeah, I like that. In The
I
Last
actually
Jedi.
kind of
Which
like
they
that.
completely undo.
They
Yeah,
completely
they
undo to
the whole film
absurd
is
degree.
Yeah.
that main.
Yeah, your
line.
parents weren't important, but your grandparents were.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, like...
Admiral Holdo's move that people complained about on the internet, they addressed that in a line.
Oh, did they?
Did they?
Yeah, do you remember when she does the hyperspace ram?
Oh, I remember that, but
people
what?
on the
When did they
internet were like,
reference that in 9?
when one of the rebels says, we need to do some Holdo maneuvers, and then Poe says, that was a 1 in a million shot, it wouldn't
Oh, I
it
do
wouldn't
remember
work
that,
again.
yeah, I do remember
oh,
that.
Oh, right.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really addressing everything that people
Yeah.
had a problem with.
The one thing I liked that was addressing things for me was they redeemed Luke's character for me, alright?
I didn't like that.
I did enjoy that scene, actually.
What,
Maybe the only scene in the film I really liked.
It was just so on the nose and dishonest when this time Rey throws the lightsaber away and Luke catches it and says, I was wrong.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
no.
That's very on the nose, but like, I thought it was like some justice for Luke, kind of.
I mean, part of me...
Luke gets his justice in The Last Jedi, though. I would
He
say.
fucking does
He
not.
does. He slows
He
down.
kind of
he
does,
still,
doesn't he? Because
yeah,
he realises by the end of the film that, like,
he
maybe I
stalls
was
the
wrong.
First Order, but in a way that isn't conventional. It's like great.
man.
I love his death scene when his
You like
music
his death
plays and the
scene?
two suns
I
are in the
fucking
sky. It's
hate
like
that.
Tatooine.
Why the fuck does he die? Why didn't he go there? That would have been cool if he went there.
He's this mature. I like that. That was something that genuinely the intention worked. I think in The Last Jedi.
I think he should have gone there and like actually died. The fact that he just kind of he did it and then he's fucking like dies is a bit weird. Like
Yeah, well, I don't really get why he died. 'Cause
Exactly.
It's like he wasn't there.
It just ascends like
yeah,
Leia
but
does in this.
yeah, but that's not good either.
Carrie Fisher
but-
ascended in real life.
But yeah, going back to 9 though, yeah, I like that scene with Luke. I thought the bit where he lifts the ship up was one of the only good throwbacks maybe to references of old films. But yeah, no, this film just starts bad. Like
From the opening, literally from
the
the
title
opening
crawl. It's like the first sentence is
Emperor
the dead.
Palpatine is
No,
back.
before that, it's like the dead speak,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like,
Oh.
what
Yeah,
the fuck
the-
is this? Like,
I mean, I don't mind that because it's like that. Those bits are meant to be like dramatic, like this is what's going on, blah blah blah. But like the fact that they tried so hard to go back and go against, even though like I don't like what Rian Johnson did with a lot of it. The fact that they tried to constantly go back, it's like maybe they should have just gone with it and like not try and undo.
I think you should have like
'Cause-
gone with what you can and then try and make something good out of it.
Because you spend like
yeah.
so long trying to like get back to like kind of where we
Yeah.
were in episode 7 almost, but it's
Yeah,
like,
no, because this is the problem I have with the title crawl is the fact that the Emperor is like he comes back off screen and it's like
Yeah.
what, and then it literally never
There's
explained
one line
how he
about
comes
cloning.
back.
There's one line about
Yeah.
evil Sith cloning techniques.
Isn't that just like a rebel sword? It's like cloning maybe or something.
Something-
It's
yeah.
like
Some
it's not
more
even
Sith
like
cloning.
confirmed. It's just kind of like
Because did he clone himself? I guess.
What?
So does he remember?
I mean, I'll be honest.
no, it has to be him because his body's all fucked up.
Yeah, but not as fucked up as it should be from.
He shouldn't be in the film
No.
because he explodes in space on the
Yeah.
Death Star.
Well, if it's a
basically.
clone, then it's not the original.
Well, that's
But it's
what,
not a
that's why
clone.
it doesn't make sense. No, like,
It can't be
Yeah,
a
that's
clone
true, yeah.
because why would he?
Why wouldn't he
Yeah.
make himself new? And
Yeah.
Why would his
yeah.
clone be way worse
well, that's what he
than
did to
he was
Snoke.
in
To be
6?
fair, Snoke is revealed to be a clone, but even he's really deformed.
Yeah.
Alright, this is okay.
So it's a,
Yeah.
I want to get into Snoke. Like, the fuck is the point of Snoke?
he was. I don't know.
Like, why
He was
did
engineered
the
to be-
Emperor? He made Snoke and the First Order.
He didn't just make Snoke. He made a
A
lot.
a jar
He's
of
got
pickled Snoke.
pickle.
Yeah.
Turn myself into a pickle. Pickle Snoke.
Yeah, I don't understand. Why did he need clones of Snoke if there was only one Snoke? And what? He makes this, like, First Order, okay, fair play. You want some other guy to be in charge of while you're behind the scenes. But then you make this other Final Order. So what's the
Final
point
Order.
of the First Order?
Because it
Where does
sounds
the
like
Final Order
something, I don't know.
even come from? Does he conjure
His
them? Does he
mind.
make them? Who
His
are the
mind.
Red Stormtroopers? Do they live on the planet? Where do they?
Yeah, that's
where's the
true,
crew?
yeah.
Who's manning the Star
Also, who are those
Destroyers?
random guys just chanting when he's doing
Are
his...
they ghosts? Are they Sith?
They can't be ghosts, though, because they, like,
I-
physically build stuff,
I get the
right?
impression.
Like, they build those
I get the impression
Olympus.
they're Sith, but that's about it. I don't really understand why or what.
Yeah, well, they
Well,
say
it's
something.
the
They say
Sith
something
planet.
really
It's
vague,
like the
like
Sith-
ancient Sith.
It's like the
beings.
Sith homeworld or some shit,
Yeah.
isn't it? But the Emperor's been
Just hanging out.
conjuring
But-
these Star Destroyers with Death Star guns in his mind,
Yeah.
Yeah.
while the First Order have
Well, that
been
was
dicking
dumb,
about
yeah.
with.
Well, they're trying to find. The opening crawl says that Kylo Ren wants to find Palpatine to kill him because he sees him as a threat to his power.
yeah.
But then he finds him, and Palpatine says, "Well, how about you just don't?
Why don't you kill Rey?
Why don't you
Just
kill
don't.
Rey and you can have my."
Although he
Fine,
doesn't
fine,
really
fine.
want him to kill Rey because he wants Rey
No,
to
he
kill
wants
him.
Rey to kill him, apart from when she does.
Except when she does.
Yeah, but that's not how he wanted it to be done.
We'll get to
That's
that
why-
bit.
The brain rot of this film.
So
I've never felt insulted by a film before, and I don't feel insulted because I'm like a massive Star Wars fan who feels let down. I feel insulted because it's like J.J. Abrams is just calling me an idiot.
Yeah.
Because nothing makes sense,
Well,
and he
thinks,
doesn't want.
he thinks that you'll just ignore a bunch of
Yeah,
nonsense.
I've never seen a
like-
film so
Yeah.
desperate for you to not ask questions.
Yeah.
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 You ask any questions and it doesn't make
And
sense.
I've
Nothing makes
seen-
sense. It's terrible. It's the worst script I've ever seen put to film. The
fucking
Dark Knight
terrible.
Rises used to be the gold
Yeah.
standard for that, where people would say, "Why did any of that happen? Why does it turn from night to day? Why does Bane do anything?" But then you watch this and
It makes that look like a
Looks like-
masterpiece.
fucking Usual Suspects.
Feels just such a mess. It feels like J.J. Abrams. Obviously, I can't see his thought process, but it feels like he was like, "Oh, let's just fucking get this over with."
It's
Yeah, I
Get
don't
the
know.
Emperor,
I don't
and he
know.
does some lightning in it.
Even though he is the director, I don't know how much was him and how much was like Disney and Kathleen Kennedy, because there are these leaks, supposed leaks of this other JJ cut, and Disney like forced him to do, or
Really?
they just kind of edited it themselves without consulting JJ, kind of thing. Which, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Could be true, couldn't be not.
What a mess.
What a mess. Yeah.
Martin Scorsese said that the Marvel films aren't cinema; they're theme parks.
Star Wars.
The last The Last Jedi, the Rise of Skywalker isn't cinema. It's a spreadsheet.
You see that, yeah.
It's just a check sheet of
Yeah.
things. The worst one for me, the most egregious moment of fan service checklist was when Chewbacca gets his medal from A New Hope.
That just makes no sense.
What?
Yeah.
Like, if it's the same medal they got in A New Hope,
Took
why
it off
give
Han
it-
Solo's rotting corpse.
Yes, this is grave reference.
why give it to him 40 years later
That's 'cause
for
it's-
that thing?
That's the kind of thing they make jokes about on The Big Bang Theory. That time Chewbacca didn't.
Yeah, I know that's a big meme or
that-
whatever,
yeah.
that he never got it.
And why is Maz Kanata is just an antiques collector? I guess she got Luke's lightsaber. She got an authentic Yavin medal.
Well, why didn't they give it to him 40 years ago, you know? When it was
He's-
appropriate.
I don't know. Yeah, that was
Or
like
you should even,
that was
like,
such an obvious
not give
moment
it to
for just
him,
like
maybe,
the fans,
yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
look, Chewbacca finally gets a medal. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. That was pretty bad. I want to, let's get back into the film. Like, the first 40 minutes, too much shit happened.
yeah,
Yeah.
so much.
Sometimes, when a film's finished and you think back on it, and you're like, what happened? I was thinking that
I
watching the
remember
film,
being like an
Yeah.
experience like what like
I was
what's going
I
on
was
right
watching
now?
it, trying to when they were on the planet with the crashed Death Star. I was thinking back, like how did we get here? What?
Yeah.
What is
MacGuffins.
this?
There's just a bunch of MacGuffins for like an hour.
What
like,
are the MacGuffins in this? They need to find
So-
the Sith Wayfinder.
I lost track of what
The
they were
first,
looking for.
the
It
way
was
they were looking for the Wayfinder.
they needed to find the dagger as well.
I
that
thought
dagger, yeah.
Because Kylo at the
Wait.
beginning in
Kylo
like,
gets his.
he gets his
Wayfinder.
Wayfinder. He's like,
Yeah, do you know that's Mustafar?
what? Yeah, I do.
Who's he
But
fighting?
I don't know.
Did you think that? I was thinking. Who's
Wait,
he
what?
fighting?
Where he's killing
The
all
very
those
first
people?
scene, Kylo Ren's fighting
Yeah.
those people for a Wayfinder.
That was
Who
that
is
was like a really
What's
jarring
happening? Why
cut
is-
into the film. Like
Yeah.
it just cuts to
Yeah.
that, and you're like,
So
what?
every Star Wars film, it starts in space. It goes to a starts in
Yeah.
space, pans to a
Yeah,
spaceship. They
that's true.
cheat in this one. It starts in space and immediately cuts to Kylo Ren killing people and then getting a.
And then he's like
a
going through
Wayfinder.
this light speed tunnel, and he's
Yeah.
going dodging through
then
these
he goes to
things, and it's
Palpatine's
like,
lab.
what?
It's race training, and then they go to the festival planet.
Yeah, let's go back to the Rey training. Like, was a bit weird. I thought she was already like a fucking master, pretty much, of the Force.
She was pretty good.
And then like Leia is supposed like I know you see her fly through
Yeah.
space and all that in Episode 8.
Yeah. Well, Leia had trained as a Jedi in between 6 and 7. That's shown in this film. Luke.
Well,
trained-
showed in this film. Is
Yes,
my point.
exactly,
It's not
yeah.
showed in any other film.
No, but so Luke. It makes sense. That
I
Luke
don't
Skywalker's-
mind that
The
because it's not that out of
the
character.
Force is clearly hereditary. They both got a high midichlorian count,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
think it's pretty reasonable that Leia would also be a Force user,
Alright, fair play.
trained at some point in the 30 years between.
I don't want to insult Carrie Fisher or anything, because obviously she didn't really have a choice for this film, did she? She's just kind of in it. But like, I did find the scenes of her a bit awkward.
It's quite unfortunate that she was
Yeah.
the only living character, but the
Yeah.
only dead.
I think the
God's
tasteful
member.
thing would have been to like start with like maybe her
Start with Leia's
funeral.
funeral.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
Leia's space funeral. We have the opening crawl, and then it
I was
pans
sure
to-
that was what would happen.
I was as
I
well,
don't know why
and
they
then-
kept her in. Like,
And
It's
then,
not like she was particularly important,
no,
apart from one scene.
she just like gave Rey a bit of inspiration.
There's actually one
which
thing me
could have
and
been.
Sean disagreed on, which was my theory that the Han Solo cameo was supposed to be Princess Leia.
I've heard people say that. I think
Because
that.
did you notice it? Because when you think about the sequence of events, it's when
Yeah.
Kylo and Ren,
Kylo and Ren.
Ren and Stimpy. What the fuck are they?
Mickey and
Kylo
Goofy.
and Rey are fighting on the Death Star wreckage,
Yeah.
and then Leia.
Oh, this
distracts
moment is terrible.
Kylo
Yeah.
by saying his name and then dying.
Yeah.
And then
That's
we get
another
the
point I
Han Solo
wanted to-
cameo immediately
Yeah.
afterwards that convinces him to go back to the light side. My theory is that was supposed to be Princess Leia. I feel it fits a lot more if she
It would've
is.
made
It's her
sense,
sending
wouldn't
her
it? Yeah.
sacrificing herself to send her spirit to.
What was my? I
But we'll
don't-
never know because there's that
Yeah.
one line that you get that "I love you, I know," but Han Solo and Princess Leia both say that, so it could be.
Yeah. What was my disagreement to that? Because I
You
actually
said
kind of
that you
agree
thought
with
it was
that now.
probably- You
but-
said it was probably Han Solo when I first mentioned it.
Oh, okay. I think I agree with you now. I don't know what I was shouting
Personally,
about
I just think that was
before.
my pet
Yeah.
theory. It makes
And
sense.
Harrison Ford didn't even shave. Let's just make that.
No, he
didn't even
seems like
shave.
he was-
Didn't even
Didn't
get
comb
a
his
hair.
hair.
I know.
Didn't get a
Too much
haircut.
effort.
Just like probably Mickey Mouse had like a gun point to his head.
They just
and
found
it
him
was
in a bar and like dragged him out and like put the
Please,
jacket.
Harrison, the film will not make sense unless somebody does this.
Yeah, that is a weird moment because he's not a Force ghost, but yeah, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. What is he?
He's a projection
he's not
of
blue.
Leia's mind.
Is he a memory? Kylo Ren's
guess.
imagining it? Is he an
Yeah, I
actual
guess.
ghost?
I think it's Leia using the Force somehow. That's all I
So
got out of
remind
it.
me, what's the reason for Leia
She
dying?
lies down, so...
Because she projects
Bam.
Han Solo to
So
Well, I
Kylo
think
Ren.
this is well, it makes sense. This is what I mean. It makes more sense.
She doesn't
if you-
receive an injury.
No, she just
so they
lies
just
down
say
and-
she's
Well, it's
weak.
like how
Lies down
Luke
and
fucking
dies.
dies in Episode 8 because
Yeah,
reasons.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it would make you sense.
Well, that's probably
As
what
to her
happens
sacrificing
to.
herself,
You can
yeah.
probably just focus really hard and just evaporate yourself into the Force.
I mean, I don't mind that. Like the Force
It's
is
probably what
non-specific
Obi-Wan
enough.
does. Because he doesn't get sliced, you know. He focuses. And,
I thought he
Alright,
does
well,
get slashed.
That side. No, he goes before it. So.
yeah. So maybe
I
that's,
thought like
maybe
he
that's,
gets slashed and just disappears instantly.
that's what I mean. Maybe he actually disappears before he gets slashed, and that was
I
his
suppose, yeah.
plan. I don't know.
Suppose, yeah.
Maybe
Getting back to the film though, and I want to talk about. Well, the turning point of Kylo Ren is fucking hearing Leia say Ben or something, right?
Yes.
That's fucking
And then
dumb.
Han Solo does his little
And then
thing
he
with him
appears and
does
Yeah,
like the
but
same
like
dialogue.
that's like literally on par with like the Martha moment in Batman versus Superman. Where, like,
Kylo was always sort of
Mm.
on the fence, and but then they seal it in the Last Jedi, and then they go back on that in this.
Yeah.
well, he fucking rebuilds his helmet. No?
He rebuilds his helmet. That's very symbolic
Yeah.
of the differences between.
No,
the
but I
films.
think it's a dumb moment. That's his turning point.
Yeah, it
okay,
doesn't-
like
It didn't require much, did it? It was just like
No.
somebody, because they'd said to him like all the same stuff before, like yeah, this isn't you, blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
it's just, but this time it's like okay, yeah, maybe you're right.
And then it introduces literally a power that breaks the fucking universe, where like
Yeah.
no one's ever really gotten because
The
you
Force,
can just
the
fucking
Force heal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd be fine with it for wounds. It's when they bring people back from the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually like it as a power because
It makes sense.
Force
I-
heal, like you got a wound, yeah, but like
And also, I like it when Rey does it on that snake.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
Because I like compassionate heroes like Superman, Doctor Who, and Rey. It was good
Ray
when she
Palpatine.
Ray Star Wars. Ray Palpatine when she heals
Yeah.
that snake. Then
Yeah.
it was death.
It kind of breaks a lot of Star Wars though. That just
Yeah.
the like death thing. Yeah, you can't really die.
Healing death is always a problem.
Yeah.
Second time J.J. Abrams has done it, he heals death in Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Because you can use Khan's blood to
Oh.
cure anything.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, no, as we say in the start, it's just like MacGuffins, like find this dagger,
Find
find
the
this
dagger,
fucking
find the
wayfinder.
Find there's a gold coin, not really a MacGuffin, more of just a thing. You know, the medal, like
Oh,
a captain's medal that you can
Yeah.
Yeah.
do anything.
Which on that planet with like Poe's love
the
interest.
Poe gang, yes.
Yeah.
The Spice Runners.
Babu Frick.
Babu Frick, I liked Babu Frick, I must say. Hands up, I enjoyed Babu Frick.
Fair play. I kind of like Babu Frick.
Yeah, I mean he's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't care much for the Daft Punk woman. What's her
Yeah,
name?
I don't even
Zora?
remember
Is that her name?
Oh no, it's the
Zora?
things from Zelda. Fish
Zelda?
people. The Zoras,
Zoras? I don't know.
yeah.
That felt like a classic of like.
I kind of
you know,
like that
rushing a load
planet
of
as
stuff into
well,
a
but
short
like there's
period
like
of
no
time.
time
It was
given
like,
to
yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
like
It's like
5 minutes on that.
she like
Yeah.
points a gun at his head and it's like I haven't seen you for years. I hate you. I'm gonna kill you now. And then it's like 5 minutes later. My only chance of a free life. Take it. Like.
Yeah.
All right.
What?
Well, that didn't take long. Like 5
Disappears
minutes.
for like
she'd-
90% of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comes back when Lando.
And then
Also, that was so cheap. The way Lando, in the last film, they were like, oh, we can't get any fleets. We've gone around everywhere, and we can't get any fleets. And then Lando just does it.
Oh, Billy D. Williams is quite charismatic.
Well, I like Billy D. Williams.
But, like,
charismatic than Carrie Fisher.
Maybe if
clearly,
if he'd at least had like a scene or a montage of him talking to
Yeah.
people. But the fact that he just goes and is back and it's like, yeah, man, look at all these ships. Oh, thanks.
I didn't like that. I hated
Yeah.
it when they were like, Finn's like, Lando, you did it. And I'm like, what did he do? Like, what? Like, I know he got this fucking fleet, but like, we didn't see any of that happen. Like,
Yeah.
fucking Knights of Ren finally
that was
turn
really
up,
disappointing.
and they
They,
are
like,
just
die so
boring
easily.
motherfuckers. Yeah, don't do anything really.
They look cool.
Yeah, there's that fucking shot where
Yeah.
like goes around 360 degrees of just
Yeah.
them on like a hilltop. It's like, alright, they look cool, but do they do anything? No.
One thing I quite like the force communication that Kylo and Rey do. I like that.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
actually
mean,
don't
that
mind
was
that.
one thing.
That led to some quite
that was
creative things
South
when they're
and
fighting
Eight,
on
that's
separate
alright.
planets.
And
when
how he
she
finds out
passes-
where they are because like she knocks something over.
She knocks Darth Vader's
Oh, Darth
helmet
Vader's
off,
helmet, yeah,
And
yeah.
then she passes him a lightsaber. That was quite.
And then he
yeah.
goes and says something dumb like about her parents like, I lied when I said that they didn't matter. Or
Oh no,
something like
he
that.
says, I said they were nobodies, and because they pretended to be nobodies.
Yeah.
They wanted to be nobodies. That works as a callback to Obi-Wan saying, it was true from a certain point of view.
Yeah, I want to get into that. I think it's a
Palpatine.
fucking ludicrous idea that Palpatine was banging someone and had a child.
Well, he was a
Johnson,
chancellor.
and Boris Johnson has kids, so you could kind of
But
believe that.
this
a
was
big politician.
Palpatine. This wasn't Palpatine in like the prequels era where he looked like a person.
Yeah, but he's the
decrepit.
emperor, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
he
the
does.
emperor.
He can probably do what he wants.
Got some illegitimate kids, I guess.
But jokes aside, am I wrong? Like that's
That's
dumb.
I can
it
look
is-
past it because
I did only in the past couple of days as I finally come around to the idea that potentially Palpatine could have some illegitimate
Unlimited
children around
power.
Coruscant.
I mean,
It's
yeah.
terrible. I do think it's absolutely terrible.
That's
but-
my point. Yeah.
I honestly, the whole being related to Palpatine thing, I think I called that a bit before it happened. I was like, they're gonna reverse the thing of Rey being nobody. So the question is, who do they make her related to? Like the obvious one would be Luke, but I think they realised that would just be so obvious. And like none of the stuff, none of the parts like that were meant to be like a big thing were surprising. It's like you could really call like out. You could predict beat for beat like how everything was gonna go. Oh, and then they get the fleet, and then they team up and kill the Emperor, and he does his lightning.
Related to Palpatine. I started from that. Like you see a flashback of Palpatine's or Rey's parents. One of them, obviously, the child of Palpatine.
Yeah, does it ever say whether it's mother or father?
I'm sure it does, but
Maybe,
I
I
can't
can't
remember.
remember.
But you see them anyway. They look like normal 30-year-olds.
Yeah, they turned out.
Who the if you're raised by Emperor Palpatine.
That's the
How
thing.
are you
I
a
guess they
normal?
weren't.
Yeah.
I guess they
How are you a
weren't raised
normal
by
person?
I mean, they must have not done,
Fuck
because
you,
otherwise they
Dad.
would have
I'm
just-
gonna be a
Exactly,
normie.
yeah. So he probably, he slept around the Senate. He had a kid. At least they were raised by a mother.
Dumb.
They found out. It is dumb. The idea,
Yeah.
it is dumb.
Yeah.
Just anything to do with Palpatine in this film is terrible.
Oh, and
It
the
is
part where
really
the
terrible.
part where all the voices of the old Jedi.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
That was so cheesy. That,
when I
felt-
heard
that
Yoda's
felt-
voice, I think I laughed in the cinema.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. I felt like I was watching like a fan
It
film
did
on
feel like
YouTube.
that.
Like it was just ridiculous.
I read in it they had like voices from like the cartoons as well. Like
Oh,
or
really?
I
something.
noticed
Yeah.
Hayden Christensen.
I noticed Hayden Christensen and obviously Yoda and then Alec
Mace
Guinness.
Windu and Qui-Gon,
Yeah, Mace
right?
Windu.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, like, they don't have a separate line for them all to say. So it's like a
They
few of them are
just
just
all
like Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like properly cheesy, like properly like, oh my god.
One thing that did surprise me, like probably the only thing I can think of that I didn't predict, was when Rey uses lightning. Force
Oh yeah.
lightning.
Oh, that's a moment I thought could have been cool.
Yeah, I like that.
She
If
kills
Chewie had
Chewie. I was
died.
like, fuck, that's kind of cool.
It's
I'll be
quite
honest.
dark. Like
It's
2 minutes later, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's fucking on a ship.
even though
somewhere,
you
but-
They don't
literally
even leave
saw him get on that. It was that.
Oh, there was another one. How did you not see the other
There
one?
wasn't another one. I swear to God, I was thinking about this. There wasn't another
They
one.
don't even make you wait until the main characters see Chewie again. It's literally the next scene.
Yeah, literally. It's like one of those Star Wars swipes. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Chewbacca there. It's like, okay.
Imagine if Rey had killed Palpatine with lightning. That could have been potentially interesting if they went.
Palpatine just needs to calm down on his use of lightning.
Well, it
He just can't
backfires
stop.
basically every time.
Can't stop.
Yeah, can you not
Stop
turn it
firing
off?
it. Just stop firing it. It's not
It
hard.
doesn't- They used that on him twice.
He really hasn't learned his lesson.
No,
Well, like 3 times at this
Yeah.
point, right? Pretty well, I guess twice. Yeah.
Well, the
more.
first, yeah.
Although he's still using it when he like
He's still
goes down
using it
that.
when yeah,
Death
it's
Star,
clearly very difficult to turn off.
He goes into like a trance.
Yeah.
He can't get out of it.
You can't stop. Once he starts, that is it. And so
This is a
he's
big
out the
plot though.
force.
Like Rey can't kill Palpatine because Palpatine will become Rey, right? Or something
yes,
like
because
that.
he is all the Sith.
But
Yeah.
she can kill him
I guess
if she
They
deflects
get
his
around
lightning.
it by being like,
I
oh,
guess-
well, she didn't kill him, he killed
it
himself.
ricochets.
Oh.
So the spirit would have just gone into himself.
Dumb. And then
That made sense.
and then you got Rey and Kylo have like a kiss at the end.
Yeah.
And then it's like, where
That
did that
had to
come
happen.
from?
Did
That
you
had-
see?
that had
Did you
to
see
happen.
John Boyega's tweet?
Yeah,
Wait,
no,
what
I
was-
found that
He
funny.
tweeted
Yeah.
Star Wars romance and then just pictures of Rey and Kylo fighting. None
Yeah,
of it
because
made
no, this
sense.
is
Like,
this is a good point though. Like the actors, like John Boyega, I can't remember what Oscar Isaac said, but
Oscar
he
Isaac
said
doesn't
something.
want anything to do with it.
No, yeah. So like,
there's an interview where they said something like, "Would you ever be interested in coming back to Poe Dameron?" No, absolutely not.
like,
And John Boyega has another good one where he says, "You're not going to Disney Plus."
yeah,
me."
I've seen that actually. That one. Like they're starting to kind of chat shit about the sequel film. So
Well, they're free.
Yeah, that's for their own.
they are literally free now. But
God for that.
I feel there's some.
He can actually have a career now rather than just being the guy in
Yeah.
Star Wars. Yeah.
But like I do. This is
feel-
why some of these rumours do maybe to me speak some level of truth about there being some meddling with episode 9 quite
with a movie
lot.
like this, there's always going to be, isn't there? And like with a
Yeah.
big. At the same time, it's like I really don't think I think it was going to be a mess. Like I
Yeah,
I
there
honestly
wasn't-
I don't blame J.J. Abrams because honestly,
don't
it's like being
necessarily.
given like just a lump of clay and being told to like actually like finish off.
He
you
could
know,
have
make
done something better, but he was dealt the shittest hand possible
Yeah,
at the same
yeah,
time. So
Yeah.
I do
Um,
still blame J.J. Abrams.
I don't know, partly.
partly,
But like,
Like,
I don't
it
think
would've been
that
difficult for
a really
anyone,
great
but-
director, even though Abrams isn't a great director, I don't think even a great director really could have done anything.
there's some dumb forced romance that lasts a second, and then they
Yeah.
do this thing where they just bring each other back to life, and it's like that could just go on for an infinity. That
Yeah.
power is just.
Well, did it?
And then we didn't even talk about the fucking useless stormtrooper defective
Oh yeah,
lady.
yeah.
Who like okay maybe if you brought her
Oh, right, yeah.
exactly who is she like if they brought her in an earlier film maybe
Yeah.
it would have been cool.
It felt-
She just kind of follows
kind of
Finn
came out of
about.
nowhere.
Finn's story is terrible.
Finn's story's all over the place.
I know they really did fuck Finn
So
and
did you
John
notice
Boyega about
how-
because like
Yeah.
he has this thing he wants to tell Rey and then the film
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
resolve
He
that.
never says it. Yeah.
The rumour is that there's like a scene, the scene where Lando speaks to the stormtrooper lady.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's different. That's different, actually.
I have-
He's the
I know-
father
I know
or
what you-
something.
yeah, yeah.
No, the theory is that like there is some acknowledgement in some cut where like it is that he's force sensitive, which makes the most sense, I guess.
Yeah.
The thing he wants to
Well,
tell
doesn't
Rey.
it imply that anyway? Because he says, "Oh, just a feeling. I knew that she was alive."
But
Isn't
the film, the way the
force-
film happens, it kind of leads me to believe, because it's not resolved, that it's some like weird love thing.
That's
which-
the thing. This is
yeah.
my theory. They couldn't decide.
Which doesn't
whether-
make any sense.
They couldn't decide
but-
whether they wanted Finn and Rey to have a romance or not, and in the end, they decided against it because they didn't want to be like, "Oh, you can only have like romantic relationships."
Yeah.
But they want to have their cake and eat it. And then with Rose, right?
Oh,
she
we
sa-
didn't even talk
so
about her.
this is
I mean, it's not
in
much to
episode
talk
8,
about.
right? So it's like, okay, we don't want the two mains, Finn and Rey, to get together because that's a bit like, well, not all. Okay, fair enough. We get this character basically specifically to be a love interest for Finn. Nobody likes her. In episode 9,
Yeah, Disney.
they dropped the romance thing.
Yeah.
And Rose
It's like
was
she-
only in it
that
for,
never
like,
happened.
5 minutes.
They
I
see
know.
each other a little bit, and that's it.
I think that's.
It's like they weren't sure whether
It's
they
not.
wanted
It's
to, like,
not acknowledged. It's like really weird. Like they kind of have like maybe one interaction.
Yeah, but it's
And
not
it's
like
like so-
romantically charged at all.
No.
like it's just like,
She literally saved
how
her
are you?
life.
Like thanks, yeah, man, let's do it. Like
Even if it didn't work out, like
Yeah.
there should
yeah.
be some sort
At
of
least,
drama
yeah,
there,
yeah.
like something
that
interesting.
that was one of the most obvious examples to me of right. Nobody liked this, so
Yeah.
let's not do it. Nobody liked Rose, so let's not like make her a major part. Like,
Which is weird because I was
Why
watching
would you-
interviews before the film came out, and J.J. was like, the best thing Ryan Johnson did was introduce me to this actress and this character Rose, and he didn't even use her. Like,
yeah, I actually noticed that in like when they went on like talk shows and stuff, the whole cast.
yeah,
She's always there. She didn't have much screen time really, like
no.
at all. Like it seems a bit odd.
So Finn was like a waste of space, unfortunately.
Poe, I would say. Poe never really ends up
What's
doing
he
anything.
doing? Like, he has some cheeky banter with that Zora lady.
Yeah.
The last about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then there's that bit when like Babu Fricks, he like wipes C-3PO's line.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
C-3PO's like, this is the last time I'll look at all my friends. It's like, you don't fucking know these people.
Yeah.
They're not your friend.
No, they really hate C-3PO
I know,
in this
yeah.
film. Like,
Yeah, this-
excessively.
In this one excessively.
Yeah,
And I was like,
he's always a
what?
bit annoying. They,
Yeah.
he's very fussy. He's and uptight, and they have banter with him. In this, they really hate C-3PO. That's-
If he looked over
Really
to like,
malicious.
say, R2 and Chewie were there, if he looked over to them, fair play. He's obviously friends with them, isn't
Yeah.
he? But it's just these nobodies that fucking hate him.
And I would have liked it if they gave C-3PO a send-off, if they let him make that sacrifice.
Yeah.
What I was expecting was there would be a moment where they wipe his memories, get all they want, and then he introduces himself as C-3PO, human-cyborg relations, because he's think it's all blank, and they leave him with Babu Frick to just do whatever. But no, they first wipe his memory, but then it's a joke, and it's like, oh, okay.
That, to be fair,
then,
like some of the funny dialogue with C-3PO, I didn't mind. Or some of the
but then they completely undo it and just give him his memory back because it was on the R2 cloud or something.
R2
cloud. Oh yeah, that's like really just like lazy because it's like, oh well, doesn't R2 have it backed up? And he's like, no, R2 units are like unreliable memory. It's like, okay, good, you've justified why, and then they just ignore that. It's like, oh, actually, they're not unreliable.
Yeah, it does come from R2, doesn't it?
It
There's
does.
a line about what...
He says specifically that won't work, and then it does.
I don't think
what
I
a
just...
mess. What a mess. Like,
I remember another thing, there's like another layer on the fucking mess, whatever this film is. Going back to the Emperor's final First Order stuff. You know the guy that's not Kylo Ren, he's not General Hux. Hux is...
Oh, the new guy.
Richard E. Grant guy.
Oh god, Hux.
Yeah.
The
new guy, he knew about the Emperor and doing all this shady Final Order stuff. So, what the fuck is he the leader of the... What?
I don't know. Well, wasn't he just a high up officer? He wasn't like in...
So.
I don't mean he was like in charge necessarily, was he?
Probably a bit below Hux, I guess.
No, it was above Hux, because Hux reported to him.
The Hux was supposed to... Okay, well, I guess Kylo had like a reshuffle.
The cabinet.
Devoted Hux, because they always argued.
Do you have a point about Hux?
Yeah, the fact that Hux was... Yeah, they really did... They did the dirty on my boy Hux over the trilogy.
Yeah,
I really like him in the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Then he becomes a slapstick joke.
Yeah.
To be literally tossed around by Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And I get all the names mixed up. In the other one, Episode 8, the Last Force, the Last Skywalker, and then in Episode 9, he's even worse because it's kind of interesting. He's the spy. It's like, oh wow, what's going to happen now? Is he going to join the First Order?
Yeah.
And then they just kill him because he's an obvious spy.
Yeah.
Because a weapon that kills everyone in one hit is used to wound him, and then he says, "Oh, they got away and they shot the man." They really I feel so sorry for all the actors.
Yeah.
They're all good actors with good chemistry with each other, and their characters are just terrible.
Yeah.
So with poor Hux, the new general,
Didn't really get what was going on there.
I guess he's...
I know he's on the Emperor
loyal
side.
to the Emperor, even though they're two separate things. Why would he even call his the Final Order if it's in direct competition with the First Order?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like the IRA, the real IRA and the continuity IRA. Why the Red Stormtroopers? Why were they Red Stormtroopers? Sith Troopers.
Yeah.
They looked cool, but that was it. They were red.
The point I wanted to make was that so at the start of the film, Poe, Finn, Rey all have like this camaraderie relationship.
And that slug.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
I forgot about that slug.
There's a slug that's just around. There's a rebel slug.
He's part of the gang.
Like he can do it. Yeah, but he is on the Millennium Falcon. They bring him on a mission. What? Who was that slug?
Slimer.
I like this.
Oh, and of course Dominic Monaghan, aka Merry from Lord of the Rings. You know, he was a random rebel guy, just like.
The point I wanted to make, slug guy aside, was that they have this friendship, right? Yeah, Rey, Finn, fair enough, they know each other. Rey and Poe don't meet each other till literally the last moment they're in The Last Jedi. They meet each other the first time.
Really? Had they not met before?
No. And then they're like, oh, you always saying, they're like kind of having banter. And it's like, what? Why?
It doesn't really feel earned,
friends?
like their friendships. Yeah.
No.
I guess it's been a couple of years since.
Oh, great.
Yeah, they don't. They also don't make it clear at all the time frame. Like, how long has it been since?
What's been going on?
Like,
I don't.
You just keep talking about like how much of a mess
You
it
can
is
talk a lot
for
about
ages.
just how much of.
Yeah.
It's just
probably.
It's kind of just.
Matthew, do you care about a spoiler for a type of droid in The Mandalorian?
No.
Type of droid.
Yeah. This actually sums up the difference between the Mandalorian and the sequels. In the Mandalorian, there's an R2-D2, but with arms and legs.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
And that one thing makes the world feel bigger. I'm like, oh cool, an R2-D2 with arms and legs. That's new. I haven't seen it before, and it's a twist on something familiar. The sequels fail at that.
yeah.
That one addition of an R2-D2 with arms and legs is better than
They try
anything in the sequels.
Yeah, they introduced that new one for like. Why do they need another new one?
Oh, what, the hairdryer?
Deer.
Deer,
Oh
that's it.
yeah. That's
He's-
just like
he's
for the
friends with-
kids, isn't
That's
it?
just for
Yeah.
merchandise, maybe.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren was a good character. Probably my
He's-
favourite thing to come out of the sequels.
Yeah.
He had an internal conflict.
Yeah, I agree.
He was
The relationship between Rey and Kylo was the best thing.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
The sequel
I was
trilogy.
interested in Rey by the end of this one when a bit of foresight.
No,
she was
no.
healing people.
I
She had an interest in Rey of Powers. I didn't know. You didn't.
I
I
like Rey in 7 and 8, but in this one, Daisy Ridley just kind of seemed checked out.
I was the
It was
opposite.
like-
I cared about her more in this one than.
See, I really like Daisy Ridley. I think she's really likable, just naturally.
Yeah.
But like Rey's not. Doesn't
Rey,
have much to
Rey
work
has
with.
a consistent
Yeah.
arc, which is more than you can say for a lot of characters. In The Last Jedi, I remember there was that bit where she sees some sort of inner darkness, which makes
Yeah.
sense in this one, even though it wasn't what they planned originally. It makes sense, that being retroactively her Palpatine-ness.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That makes sense why Luke
I mean,
was
the
so
thing
worried
that's a
about
shame
her.
is they all are quite good actors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Definitely.
especially
they
Adam
all
Driver.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a shame
Actually,
to
John
see.
Boyega's good in other stuff I've seen as well.
Oh,
And Oscar Isaac. A lot of them.
I have to cut this.
Yeah.
out.
That's all, folks.